This morning, within about 7 minutes of waking up, you checked your phone. You will check it 96 more times before you go to sleep tonight, not because you decided to, because something in you can't stop. Here's what nobody tells you about that number. Those 96 checks aren't random. They're not even really yours. Every single one was anticipated, engineered, and optimized by a team of people whose entire job is to make sure you do it again. You're not scrolling, you're being scrolled. But here's the part that genuinely unsettles me, and should unsettle you. This isn't a willpower problem. It isn't a generation problem. It isn't even a technology problem. It's a biology problem. A 300,000-year mismatch between the brain you were born with and the world someone else built around it. The people who designed the systems pulling at you every day, many of them don't let their own children use them. That's not hypocrisy. That's a confession. This video is about what they know that you don't, and what happens to your brain when you find out. Your brain is roughly the same organ it was 300,000 years ago. Same structures, same wiring, same core drives. It was shaped by one environment, small tribes, physical threats, scarce rewards. And for 99% of human history, that was enough. Evolution is slow. It moves in tens of thousands of years. Biology can't sprint. In the last 200 years, the world did. Electricity, mass media, the internet, the smartphone, the algorithm, each accelerating the next. None of them giving your nervous system a moment to catch up. The result is specific and structural. Your amygdala, the threat detection system buried deep in your brain, cannot distinguish a predator in the grass from a hostile comment thread. Both look like danger. Both trigger the same cortisol spike, the same narrowing of focus, the same partial shutdown of rational thought. On the savannah, the threat ended. You recovered. Now the threat never ends. The feed just refreshes. Chronic stress activation without resolution. The body was never designed to run in that state indefinitely. But someone figured out how to keep it there. Kill the myth first. Dopamine is not the pleasure chemical. It's a prediction signal. It fires in anticipation of reward, not when reward arrives. Neuroscientist Wolfram Schultz proved this in primates. Guaranteed rewards barely move dopamine. Uncertain ones spike it dramatically. The brain doesn't reward certainty. It rewards the possibility of certainty. Every time you open your phone, you don't know what you'll find. That uncertainty, that endless maybe, is precisely what your dopamine system cannot resist. This is the slot machine mechanism, not the jackpot. The possibility of the jackpot, the most addictive pattern in behavioral psychology, and it now lives in your pocket. In 2017, Sean Parker, founding president of Facebook, said the platform was built around a vulnerability in human psychology. A small dopamine hit, given just often enough to keep you coming back. His words, not mine. Over time, chronic overstimulation raises the reward threshold. Ordinary life gets quieter. A walk, a meal, a real conversation. They still exist. They just can't compete. So you reach for the phone. Not from want, from recalibration. That restless feeling when nothing is happening? That's not boredom. That's withdrawal. If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. You've heard it. Nodded, opened Instagram anyway. But it's not a metaphor. It's a business model. Platforms sell your attention to advertisers. Their actual job, the one they are measured and paid on, is to maximize how long and how intensely you stay engaged. Content, connection, community, all of it is downstream of that one number. And here's what the data told them early. Outrage keeps people on platform longer than happiness does. Researcher William Brady found that every moral emotional word in a tweet, Outrage, disgust, a threat, increased its spread by roughly 20% per word. The algorithm didn't set out to make you angry. It just optimized for engagement. Your amygdala made anger the most engaging thing on the menu. You open a feed thinking you're choosing what to look at. The feed already knows what you can't look away from. On one side, billions of dollars, the world's best behavioral engineers, and more data on your psychology than any therapist will ever have. On the other hand, you, trying to check the weather. When did you last feel genuinely inside something? Fully absorbed, time gone, nowhere else to be. Hungarian-born U.S. psychology professor Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent his career studying that state, flow, and found it's one of the strongest predictors of human well-being ever documented. Not passive pleasure. Deep engagement. The feeling of being fully used. Most people watching this haven't felt it this week. Many can't remember the last time. The mechanism is attentional residue. Every time you switch tasks, part of your brain stays stuck on what you just left, processing it for several minutes. In a life of constant switching, you're almost never at full cognitive capacity. You just don't feel the degradation as it compounds. And boredom, which we've now engineered out of existence, wasn't a flaw. The default mode network, which only runs in the absence of external input, is where creative insight, empathy, self-reflection, and long-range thinking actually live. Fill every gap and you don't just lose rest. You lose the thinking you don't know you're doing. We didn't just get distracted. We slowly trained ourselves out of depth, and depth is where everything that matters actually happens. You have more ways to reach people than any human who has ever lived, and you are lonelier than almost any human who has ever lived. That's not poetry. It's data. The U.S. Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health crisis in 2023. The UK appointed a minister for loneliness in 2018. John Cacioppo's research showed chronic loneliness has the same mortality impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. 15 cigarettes every day, just from being unknown. Your brain evolved for small, stable tribes. People who knew your failures, your history, your fears. Real connection isn't frequent contact. It's being genuinely seen over time. Digital connection activates the social reward system briefly. The way saccharin activates taste receptors. It resembles nourishment, closely enough to suppress hunger. But it doesn't feed you. You can have 1,000 followers and no one to call at 2 a.m. That gap, that specific, modern gap, is new. And it is breaking people. The tragedy isn't that we've stopped wanting real connection. It's that real connection is slow, effortful, and inconvenient. And the substitute is always one tap away. You were not weak. You were targeted. There is a difference, and it matters. The goal isn't to escape modernity. It's to stop pretending the brain can handle it without deliberate design. Your environment is currently optimized with extraordinary precision to extract your attention. The question is whether you've built anything to push back. On dopamine, the system recalibrates. Give it periods of genuine low stimulation, activities where reward is earned, not delivered. Running, cooking, making things. The ordinary starts to register again, faster than you'd expect. On attention, 20 minutes in a natural environment measurably restores directed attention and reduces cortisol. Not a screensaver. Actual nature. A park works. A tree-lined street without headphones works. On depth, remove the phone from the room entirely. Research by Adrian Ward shows its mere presence on a desk, silent, face down, measurably reduces cognitive capacity. The brain spends resources managing the impulse to check it. Out of sight is measurable, not metaphor. Start with 25 minutes, one task, No switching. On connection. Stop trying to optimize it. Go somewhere regularly, in person, without an agenda. Let the relationship be a byproduct of presence, the way it always was, before we decided everything had to be intentional and efficient. The same brain that's vulnerable to all of this wrote symphonies, built friendships that lasted decades, fell in love, found meaning in ordinary things. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just waiting for a little less noise. You are not broken. You are a 300,000-year-old mind. In a world that was redesigned in 15 years by people whose financial interest was in making sure you couldn't look away. That's not failure. That's a mismatch. And you don't fix a mismatch by trying harder. You fix it by changing the environment. So here's your one thing. Not a program. Not a 30-day challenge. One thing. Tomorrow morning, don't touch your phone for the first 30 minutes after you wake up. No news, no notifications, no scroll. Just let your brain surface on its own terms, the way it did for 300,000 years before someone put a slot machine on your bedside table. Do it consistently. Baseline anxiety drops. Morning focus sharpens. You start the day as the author of your attention, not the audience for someone else's algorithm. In 21st century, choosing your own mind first, for just 30 minutes, is an act of genuine defiance. Your brain wasn't designed for modern life, but it was designed to adapt, if you give it half a chance. 30 minutes. Start tomorrow. If something in this video landed for you, if you recognized yourself in any of it, please share it with one person. Not as a call-out, just as a quiet nudge. Because the mismatch we talked about today isn't personal, it's universal. And the more people who understand it, the harder it becomes to exploit. Take care of your brain. It's the only one you've got. See you in the next one.